name is Philip D'Souza, and I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing at HIROC. I'm joined today with Lori Marshall, who is one of 6 new board members at HIROC. We thought we'd do something different to introduce our newest additions, so we're reaching out to each person and posing a few questions so you can get to know them a bit better. So let's get to it. Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing today?
Good, very well. So, Lori, what does good governance and being an active board member mean to you?
So I think most boards are probably skills-based in nature, which is kind of interesting because you're pulling all of these people with wonderful skills and experience and everything together. And on the other hand, though, what you want to make sure is that you're not going onto a board and thinking that you're going to be the content expert on anything. That your role really is to be part of that whole and to be providing kind of that high-level oversight, noses in, fingers out, making sure that you're paying attention to things, asking good and interesting questions, understanding the material and paying attention to that, but really facilitating help for, I would say, the administration, CEO, and the staff to be able to do what they do best. And we're really there almost as I think of us as being the sober second thought. So it can be kind of a lonely role for a CEO to be making all kinds of different decisions. And sometimes you just need those different perspectives to be able to help you with that. But it really is from a governance oversight perspective and not from a management perspective.
I like that expression, noses in and fingers out. That's a good one. So, Lori, what is one thing people will be surprised to learn about Chatham-Kent Health Alliance?
So to understand about Chatham-Kent Health Alliance, you have to understand about Chatham-Kent. And one of the things that people might actually be surprised to know is given where we're situated in Canada, we're about the southernmost point, same latitude as Northern California. We have one of the warmest climates, I would say certainly in the province of Ontario, which means that we are the national producer, #1 producer of tomatoes, carrots, Brussels sprouts, pumpkins, and seed corn, and cucumbers, I think. So wow. Our actual slogan of the municipality is "We grow for the world." So the other piece that's surprising to that is that in the province of Ontario, we actually have some of the lowest consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables, which is really surprising when you consider this abundance that we live in. So our vision as an organization is actually together growing a healthier community. And so it's really, I'd say that's the surprising piece, is that our organization, and committed to working with the community and working with other organizations, is really dedicated to how do we change the health of our own population for the future around that. So I'd say that's probably one of the things that people wouldn't know about Chatham-Kent.
No, that's amazing, and I love the fact that the bridges to community, it's so critical to your operation and to how you and the team are motivated. That I love that. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have a farm market normally in the summer. This year we don't have that because of the pandemic, clearly, but right on site for the staff and patients to take advantage of, and trying to do all kinds of healthy things just within the hospital itself, because we recognize we're a pretty large percentage of the overall population.
Yeah. Wow. Who would have thought that they can go to a hospital for a farmer's market? I love that. It's great work. So how do you motivate your team?
So I have given this one a lot of thought, because we've just come through an experience with the pandemic where it was all hands on deck for long periods of time, long days in a row, and yet the team was highly motivated. So it made me ponder and sit back and think about what is it and what is it that's special about that. So I think the first thing is for any organization or any leader, when you're working with other people, is to make sure that you're speaking to their heart. I tend to be a very data-driven, logical kind of person, and yet I know that really it's that information that's about how do we make a difference in the world? That is what actually motivates people. So, whether it was the discussion we just had about what's the vision of Chatham-Kent Health Alliance and really growing this healthier community, or whether it was in the middle of the pandemic and that commitment to how do we make a difference for the community? How do we turn things around? How do we make sure that we have a very different experience here than what we were hearing about worldwide, I would say. So the first piece is that very mission-driven kind of approach with the team. And then I think good structure is something that's sometimes underrated. And I think that for a team to work well, everybody needs to have clarity around what their specific role is in that. And that makes sure that you don't get into any kind of turf sorts of things or people feeling timid about actually acting in the area that they're responsible for. So I think having kind of that very strong mission and why you're here and why we're there to work together, and then also good clarity about what is everybody's job and role in that team is very helpful. And then, certainly we're learning this over and over again, saying thank you and acknowledging people for the work that they do is just so critical.
No, some very key things there. I like that. And what have you learned from mentors in your life?
So I've, I think, been fortunate to have lots of great mentors over the years. Probably some of the things that I would say I've learned from them would be don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try something new because you can always go back. And, people have said most successful people actually have the most failures. And so it's that combination of being willing to try that and then the resilience to really be able to kind of bounce back from that. So I think another thing that I have learned from mentors, and in particular, I would say when I came to Chatham-Kent Health Alliance, was I would say, what they tell soccer players in terms of finding the space. So don't go running into where that ball is. Don't be trying to elbow your way into something that is already well looked after, well taken care of. Find the unmet need. Go and look after that, and as you do that, then you'll be able to, really, I would say, understand and grow more and be able to really contribute more there. And then the other thing I think I would say that I've learned from mentors is that it's great to learn from other people, emulate the things that you like, that you see in others, but at the end of the day, you have to be yourself. So you have to be authentic, and you can't be somebody you're not. And that's something that I think also comes with a little bit of maturity to make sure that you're being true to yourself as you engage in those kinds of leadership activities.
100%. That's a good one. I like all three, but authenticity means so much to everybody. And finally, do you have a mantra you live by, or something that keeps you personally like, I'm ready to go for the next challenge?
So I think one of the things I go back to time and time again is Margaret Wheatley and one of her comments about "and who else." So I am an introvert, so it's I'm very I guess reflective in terms of how I process information. And the thing that scares me the most, I would say, is a cocktail party and have going around and talk to other people. And yet, really appreciate and understand the need for engagement and to learn from other people. And so generally, I would say that's one of the things that I've always approached in my career is when things come forward and we're trying to think about either new opportunities or solving a problem, very often there's some other perspective that we could be asking for. And just by saying, and who else do we need to talk to about this, can sometimes open up new and interesting kinds of things. So I'd say that's one of the mantras that's served me pretty well through my professional and my personal life as well, and helps me and gives me guidance.
That's great. before we let you go, I'm personally mesmerized by that painting behind you, the trees and the sky. Like, is this is it something special? This painting?
I Not specifically something special, but I did live in Thunder Bay for 14 years, and our family, my husband and I, believe very strongly in buying local art and making sure that it is representative in our homes and in my office, clearly. And so it is one of those paintings that has just always spoke to me in terms of kind of the harsh reality of what you see in nature and how beautiful as well. So, yeah.
So true. I love it. I'm happy you have it behind you today.
Thank you.
Well, Lori, thank you so much for taking time on a busy day. Our subscribers really appreciate it. And welcome to the HIROC board. Thank you.
I'm delighted to be there. Thank you.